Welcome to the Argentinian Philosopher, ideas made simple for everyday life. Today, in the Argentinian Philosopher, 5 philosophers that change how we think about the mind and the self. Stay tuned. Who truly shaped the way we understand the mind? From ancient debates about the nature of the soul, to modern questions about consciousness, identity, and artificial intelligence, philosophy of mind remains one of the most fascinating and urgent fields of thought. How do we know we exist? What is the mind? And could machines ever think? In this video, I will rank the 5 most influential philosophers who change how we think about the mind and explain why their ideas still matter today. Stay tuned. Before we dive into the ranking, let's take one moment to ask, what exactly is philosophy of mind? In simple terms, it's the branch of philosophy that studies the nature of the mind, consciousness, and mental states. It asks questions like, what is a thought? What is consciousness? How do mental experiences relate to the body and the brain? And perhaps most fundamentally, what does it mean to be a thinking being? These questions are not just abstract. Today, they connect to some of the biggest challenges of our time, from debates about artificial intelligence and machine learning to the mysteries of human consciousness in neuroscience and cognitive sciences. Could a machine ever truly think? Are our minds simply complex biological processes? Or is there something more? A subjective, first-person experience that no algorithm can replicate. Philosophy of mind sits at the heart of this debate, bridging ancient ideas with cutting-edge science. Throughout history, different philosophers have offered radically different answers. Some view the mind as something completely separated from the body. Others saw it as an illusion. Still, others focus on the deep connection between thoughts, embodiment, and experience. In this video, we'll present 5 thinkers whose ideas have profoundly shaped how we approach these questions and who continue to influence how we think about the mind today. We begin with Merleau-Ponty, a 20th century French philosopher whose work transformed how we think about the mind and the body. Building on phenomenology, Merleau-Ponty argued that consciousness is not something abstract or disembodied. We are bodily beings whose perception and thought are grounded in sensation, movement, and interaction with the environment. This idea challenged centuries of thinking that separated mind and body. Merleau-Ponty showed that even basic experiences, like seeing a tree or grasping an object, require deep integration of perception, action, and meaning. Our sense of self, our emotions, and even our thoughts are intimately connected to the way we inhabit and move through space. In a way, we think through the body, not despite it. This idea has had a profound impact in cognitive science, psychology, and modern philosophy of mind. Today, Merleau-Ponty's insight resonates strongly in fields like embodied AI, robotics, and neuroscience. They remind us that the mind cannot be reduced to code or computation alone. It's shaped by lived experience. As we explore the nature of consciousness, his philosophy continues to challenge purely abstract or disembodied models of the mind. At number 4, we have Edmund Husserl, the founder of phenomenology, a philosophical movement that deeply shaped modern philosophy of mind. Husserl's central insight is that consciousness is always intentional, that is always directed towards something. We are never simply conscious. We are conscious of something, a sound, a thought, a memory, or an object. For Husserl, this means that studying the mind requires examining the structures of experience itself, how things appear to us, and how meaning is constituted in consciousness. Rather than reducing the mind to neural activity or abstract categories, Husserl called for a careful, descriptive analysis of experience as it is lived. Through techniques like the phenomenological reduction, he aimed to set aside assumptions and focus on the pure phenomena of consciousness. This approach helped shift attention away from metaphysical speculation towards a rigorous study of how we experience the world. It laid the groundwork for much of 20th century philosophy, from existentialism to cognitive science. Today, Husserl's influence can be seen in areas like the study of subjective experience, embodied cognition, and the philosophy of perception. His work reminds us that any theory of the mind must ultimately account for what it's like to experience the first-person perspective. In an age of AI and brain science, that lesson remains as important as ever. Coming in at number 3 is Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, one of the great rationalist philosophers of the early modern period. Leibniz approached the mind-body problem with a unique and deeply original theory, the theory of monads. According to Leibniz, reality is composed of an infinite number of simple, indivisible substances, monads, each of which reflects the entire universe from its own perspective. The mind, in this view, is a kind of monad, a center of perception and activity. This approach allowed Leibniz to avoid the classic mind-body dualism of Descartes. Instead of seeing mind and body as two separate substances that somehow interact, Leibniz argued that there is a pre-established harmony between them. The physical and mental world run in parallel, coordinated by the divine order, without direct causal interaction. This was an elegant solution to the question of how mind and body relate, and it opened up new ways of thinking about consciousness as a fundamentally relational phenomenon. Leibniz's ideas may sound abstract, but they had a lasting impact on philosophy of mind, especially in modern discussions of subjectivity, panpsychism, and the relational nature of consciousness. In an age where philosophers and scientists increasingly explore the idea that consciousness may be more fundamental to the universe than previously thought, Leibniz's vision remains provocative and surprisingly modern. At number 4, we have David Hume, the great Scottish empiricist and skeptic. Hume radically challenged traditional ideas about the mind and the self. Where many philosophers saw the self as a stable, unified substance, an enduring I behind all thoughts, Hume famously argued that no such thing exists. When we look inwards, he claimed, we find not a self, but a bundle of sensations, perceptions, feelings, thoughts, and memories constantly changing and flowing. This became known as the bundle theory of the self. For Hume, the self is a kind of fiction, a mental construction we create to make sense of our experiences. In reality, the mind is more like a theater, where perceptions appear and disappear in rapid succession. This was a profound and unsettling insight. It questioned not only traditional metaphysics, but our everyday sense of identity and personal continuity. Hume's skepticism about the self has had a lasting impact on philosophy of mind, influencing fields as diverse as psychology, cognitive science, and even Buddhist philosophy, which shares a similar view of the self as impermanent. Today, as we grapple with questions about consciousness, personal identity, and the nature of the mind, Hume's radical perspective continues to challenge and inspire. At number 1, we have René Descartes, the philosopher whose famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am," laid the foundation for modern philosophy of mind. Faced with radical doubt, Descartes sought one indubitable truth: the fact that the act of thinking proves the existence of the thinker. Descartes' dualism profoundly shaped Western thought. It framed the mind-body problem that philosophers and scientists still wrestle with today. How can an immaterial mind interact with a physical body? For Descartes, the mind was a distinct immaterial substance, the seat of reason, consciousness, and personal identity. While later philosophers would challenge this view, Descartes' sharp distinction between mental and physical phenomena set the terms for centuries to come. Even now, Descartes' influence is everywhere. Questions about whether machines can think, consciousness be reduced to brain activity, or whether subjective experience can be explained by science, all trace back to the issues that he raised. Whether you agree with his conclusions or not, Descartes forces us to confront the deep mysteries of the mind, and his impact on the field remains unparalleled. So, who truly contributed the most to philosophy of mind? In the end, it may depend to which questions speak to you the most. Descartes gave us the foundational problem of mind and body, a question that still drives modern debates. Hume challenged the very idea of a stable self, pushing us to rethink personal identity. Leibniz offered a vision of a universe filled with conscious perspectives. Husserl showed us that consciousness is always directed, intentional, and structured. Merleau-Ponty reminded us that mind and body are deeply intertwined, that our thinking is inseparable from the way we move and feel in the world. Each of these thinkers opened up new ways of understanding the mind, and their influence extends far beyond philosophy. Today, neuroscience, cognitive sciences, artificial intelligence, and even psychology continue to wrestle with questions these philosophers first raised. Can consciousness be explained by physical processes? Can a machine ever truly think? Is personal identity an illusion? How does the body shape our experience of thought? The fact that we still debate these questions shows us how powerful and unfinished philosophy of mind remains. At a time where technology is reshaping our relationship to thinking, learning, and identity, these ideas matter more than ever. Understanding the mind is not just an academic exercise. It's about understanding what it means to be human in a rapidly changing world. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Which of these philosophers do you think had the greatest impact on our understanding of the mind? Is there another philosopher that you would like to add to this list? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more deep dives into the big questions of philosophy. Until next time, keep thinking and keep questioning.